do all the reading today.
Read.
Okay, I'll take care of it.
Thank you. I can say aye or nay, but I can't read it.
All right, we're good. Whenever you want to start, whenever it's 6:30, we're broadcasting, so that's all set too.
Okay, I got a couple minutes here, Kristen.
All right.
Is this the town management
Yes, it is.
system?
For today, anyway.
For today, anyway. Yeah, you never know, do you? Okay.
We'll just wait till 6:30.
Yeah.
Okay, it's 6:30. Welcome everybody. I'll open tonight's meeting, November 1st, of the Board of Selectmen. 6:30. Jean is on, and I'm on. I know Josh is not making it tonight. Is that correct, Kristen?
Yeah, Josh is not going to be here tonight, so.
Okay, good. Yep. Okay, let me do some opening comments first. Again, curbside leaf pickup every Monday. These must be in biodegradable bags only, no barrels, root balls, or branches bigger than 4 inches in diameters. Bags must be out by 7 a.m. The town hall will be closed on Friday, November 10th, in observance to the Veterans Day holiday. And let's see, we have the annual report photo contest. Kristen, do you want to tell us about that this year?
Sure. So this is a new contest that we're doing for the annual report book, which we put that together every year. So it's not just, it's actually Mass General Law that we have to put that annual report together. And the book is basically a recap from the year before from department heads, town administrator, selectmen, committees and boards, and holds a lot of information on financial information, elections, accomplishments. I mean, most residents have usually seen that book. And since 1961, I believe there's been a picture or a drawing on the front of it. So we decided this year maybe make a contest out of it. There's a lot of talented people in Nahant, and you can enter a drawing or a photograph of one of your favorite places around town, and all ages are welcome to join. So we'll have a little area on the website where all the contest rules will be with the application and how to enter. Everything will be due by February 2nd of 2024. And then all the photos and the drawings will be voted on anonymously by the townspeople. So it's just a nice thing to get, the residents involved with something that we do every year.
Great. Sounds like a nice twist to it.
Yeah.
Thanks, Kristen. We have some community events coming up. Let's see. Saturday, November 4th at 2 p.m. Make Way for Ducklings presentation. Town Hall tickets are $10 each for children 12 and under, and $25 for ages 12 and older. Tickets are available through the library. I see the entrance sign. It looks like a wonderful event coming up, and thank you, Linda Jenkins, and the trustees and the library for putting this together. Sounds like a great time. Let's see, Saturday, November 11th, Veterans Day ceremony at Veterans Park from 9 a.m. to 10:45. The Nahant American Legion Post 215. There'll be coffees and pastries for a meet and greet. from 10:45 to 11:30. The Veterans Memorial Park at Lowlands. There'll be remarks and ceremonies at that time. 11:30, Nahant Legion. Post 2:15, a light lunch and fellowship. So hopefully people can make it. It looks like we're gonna hopefully we'll have some good weather. You know, Saturdays in the past few months have not been that great, but hopefully that's going to change.
Hey, Mark, if I could just
Go ahead.
say something about that, the veterans do a great job with this.
Mhm.
And I would encourage people, if they have the time Saturday morning, to attend that.
Yeah, I agree. It's been great. So I'll be there. I know you'll be there, Jane. So hopefully we get everybody out. Sounds great. Okay, Saturday, November 25th, from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., the Women's Club Holiday Fair at Town Hall. Saturday, December 2nd, 6 p.m., annual tree lighting at the Town Hall. And Saturday, December 16th, 4 p.m. to 7 p.m., the Christmas Parade fundraiser at the Tides Restaurant. So people can go there and make a donation. Saturday, December 23rd, 6 p.m., the annual Christmas parade. All of these events with more information can be found on the community calendar at nahant.org. Okay, Gene, any other opening comments before I move on?
No, I have none.
Okay, let's see. We have Coast Guard housing update. I see that the contractor has begun work. Abatement of the units themselves are going according to schedule. I think they're pretty much done with most of them on Goddard Drive, and I believe they'll move over to Castle Road next week. And any further update on that, Kristen?
Yeah, I believe the oil tanks are going to be pumped out, removed, and the holes will be backfilled between November 3rd to November 7th. Many of the vacant units on Goddard Drive have had some significant process on abatements.
Mhm.
They have a crew on site now and are in the early stages of work for 114, 116 Gardner. And again, just like you said, they're going to start moving on to Castle. So
Okay,
they're moving right along. They've had some, good weather, and they're doing good. So
great.
Was,
And I know
Dan,
that. Go ahead, Jane.
was Dan expected to give us any kind of an overview on this?
Well, from the demo aspect, we need to get the abatement done and the utilities cut off before we get a demo permit, which is why you see it in that order. So the demolition doesn't start until another week, maybe two, depending on how the abatement goes. But it's actually, this schedule you see here is actually the second iteration. The first one was a bit slower. So we're actually ahead of the game based on where we thought we would be maybe 2 weeks ago. From a legal standpoint, we expect a trial date in one of the tenancies over the next week or two or three, I should say, over in Salem. And we expect another trial date for a second tenancy not long after that. And in a bit of good news, the third tenancy, we expect them to actually be out sometime in December. So things are progressing along that line in the legal sense, and they're progressing on the demolition abatement sense as well. So things are really getting a lot of momentum. Good stuff.
Thanks, Dan.
Thanks, Dan. Also, just a follow up on this. I know that the board had declared all of those storage sheds as surplus during our last meeting. So if anybody's interested in them, contact the American Legion, Bob Fields, Dan Cahill, and is that on our website too, Kristen?
what was it? Sorry.
The storage sheds, I know that we had declared them surplus, and I believe the American Legion is doing a fundraiser for them, raising money.
I don't have that I don't have that on our website. I can put something on there for sure though tomorrow.
Great.
I can tell you, Mark, that we donated them to the American Legion, and Dan McMacken and Tony are going to get together and work out the specifics. I think that's where that was left off. And then Tony, of course, is on vacation this week, so I expect that to happen early next week.
Okay, I believe they were $500, and I believe GJ Towing and Trucking would bring them to the residents. So
That's my understanding. Yeah.
good deal. All right, thank you. Okay, new business. We have some event requests to approve. I move that the Board of Selectmen vote to approve the following event requests. The annual Nahant Lions Club Turkey Shoot on November 18th, 2023, from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. behind the DPW on Flash Road, and the annual PTO Christmas tree sales starting November 23rd, 2023 at the Lowlands parking lot on Thursdays and Fridays from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. and Saturdays and Sundays from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. And finally, the annual Polar Plunge on Monday, January 1, 2024 at 11 a.m. at Short Beach. Any further discussion on this?
I'll second the motion.
Right, second, the motion's been seconded. Further discussion? Let's see, again, the Lions Club Turkey Shoot is, as you know, a annual fundraiser for the Lions Research and local food pantries. The PTO Christmas tree sales will be held until December 23rd or until all of the trees are sold. And the Polar Plunge is hosted by Lancelot Janitorial from Lynn, and is a fundraiser for the Bagley Family Fund. Any further discussion on this motion?
I just, I'm wondering if we should let Kyle Jenkins enter again this year. I heard he swept the field last year.
Oh, on the turkey shoot?
Yeah,
Yeah, well, let's see. I'm sure he'll be there defending his title.
we'll have
Any further-
we'll have him donate the turkeys.
Okay. Any further discussion? Roll call vote.
Gene Canty, aye.
Mark Cullen, aye. Few minutes to approve. I move that the Board of Selectmen vote to approve the Board of Selectmen meeting minutes from September 20th, 2023 and October 4th, 2023.
Seconded,
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion?
none.
Hearing none. A vote.
Gene Canty, aye.
Mark Cullen and I. Gene, I asked Kristen to put this next item on the agenda, the town administrator's contract renewal. Dan, I think we're required to notify the town administrator at least 6 months in advance of sort of our intentions, and I believe our intention is to work on a new contract renewal for the town administrator prior to the end of the existing one. So I don't know if I need a vote on that, Dan. Probably not.
No, not now. We're still a year out, I believe.
Yeah.
until this next contract, so we're fine at this point.
Yeah, well, I think it's up on the end of June.
Okay, it's almost a year.
But I think the special act requires us to notify him 6 months in advance of that, of what our intentions are. So I just want
It's either that
to.
or the contract, one of the two.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll be working on that over the next few months.
Yep.
Okay. Ongoing business, the short-term rental bylaw. Dan, you want to talk about this?
Yes, we are waiting to hear back from the Attorney General's office, the municipal law unit. We're waiting on their decision regarding the Article 24, which was the article that set the new uses that regard the short-term rental. Most importantly, the banning of them in residential districts. So they have not decided on whether that's appropriate or not. And I say appropriate, what I mean legal. Their typical purview is state law, the state constitution, and there's certainly nothing in either of those avenues that would prevent this from passing. However, there is some federal case law down south in different circuits that seem to suggest that a ban on out-of-town the short-term rental owners might actually violate the interstate commerce clause, which is Article 1, Section 8 of our U.S. Constitution. So I think they're a little leery of that growing case law, which hasn't come out of the First Circuit, which is where we are, but it has come out of circuits down south, Texas, Louisiana being two. So I have a conversation set up, or I was going to say a telephone conference set up tomorrow afternoon with that office to discuss this further. And once I hear from her, Attorney Gunnigan, then I'll be able to report more fully what they're thinking moving forward. That being said, we expect a decision from their office no later than November 27th.
Can you explain that federal intervention a little bit more?
Okay, so interstate commerce clause is a part of the law that's retained to the federal Congress, which is to say they are able to create laws that affect interstate commerce, which, if you look at it the other way, says that states can, or even towns in this case, cannot pass laws that interfere with interstate commerce. So you look at it backwards in this particular case, and they actually call it the dormant interstate commerce clause. What that means is that we could not pass any law or bylaw in this case, or local law in this case, that would interfere with interstate commerce. And with a lot of these out-of-state, not in our particular case, but in the other cases, out-of-state owners, say, for example, someone from Florida owned a short-term rental in this case, actually, Louisiana, New Orleans. They want to operate a business in terms of a short-term rental, but the local bylaw, or in that case, the ordinance, says that you can't because you have to be a resident. What the federal cases are saying is that that's a violation of the interstate commerce clause. Put more personal to our particular sense. Say someone from New York wants to buy something on Castle Road and operate a short-term rental. Our bylaw at the moment says, well, you can't. Well, I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that. The bylaw that passed at town meeting said, well, you can't do that unless you are a resident of the town. That might be a violation of the federal law, which is what I believe the Attorney General is looking at now, and what I believe will be the genesis of our conversation tomorrow. So once I learn more from her, I can report back to the board, and we can make plans moving forward.
That's great. Thanks, Dan.
Thanks, Dan. And I will say that Tony has begun looking at the rules and regulations that the Board of Selectmen will have to promulgate. I've been going over them. I know that my colleagues, Gene and Josh, also have copies, so that when the Attorney General's office does approve our bylaw, we'll have something in place.
And Mark, they'll go through no matter what. The rules and regulations are really not affected by it's being currently under consideration by the Attorney General's office. That they're going to happen no matter what. That's already been approved. This is a very discrete portion that they're reserving at the moment. So that's going to go forward no matter what happens next month, or actually later this month.
Yeah,
So
and we've been working.
that goes forward whether it's owner operated or not.
Absolutely. The regulations are really, they apply to everybody. I'm sorry, all the short-term rentals, owner occupied or not. So they're going to go forward. They're going to happen no matter what. The provision that we have in the bylaws is, or the newly enacted and approved bylaws, is that they don't take effect. And I think it's not until March of next year. We gave ourselves a nice and long leeway to get these done before they become effective, so no one is caught off guard.
Great.
Thanks, Dan. Okay, Kristen, do you want to give us an update on the compost program?
Yeah, so I can't say we, but Swim and Mary Lowe, who put a lot of work into this, they recently launched a Town of Nahant compost pilot program with Black Earth, and they were able to get 25 of the new customers that they wanted to get through the pilot program, which brings us to a total of 100 customers total throughout the Town of Nahant. Which means that all of the customers, old and new, that started this composting with them are getting 30% off their bill with Black Earth, which is great. And they'll receive an abatement on their trash bill as well. So even though the pilot program is now over because we fulfilled that quota that we wanted to fulfill, or that they wanted to fulfill, you can still sign up and you can still become a compost member with Black Earth. And We have a site, place on our website that you can go to, the compost pilot program, and you can find the information there. You can contact Mary Lowe at the town hall, and she'll give you some more information about it too.
That's
But
good
they
news.
put a lot of work into it, and it's great that they, you know, filled their quota and got a lot of people interested. And yeah, they did a lot of hard work. So
Great, thank you, Kristen.
yep,
Hey,
Thanks,
Kristen,
Stu.
can you hear me?
yep,
Hello,
that's
Joe.
Tony just joined.
Go ahead, Tony.
Hey, so just a quick correction on that last point Kristen made. The pilot program is still open. People can still sign up for the pilot program. We're hoping to get as many people as possible enrolled on Black Earth Compost. But we did meet our initial goal, as Kristen mentioned, in such a short period of time. So really great work by those who set it up and those who signed up. But it's still open for people. It's going to be open until probably mid 2024, probably summer of 2024. So we're still offering the rebate, for the full 1 year membership.
Okay, so Tony, the pilot program being still open means that you have 1 year free, correct?
Yes.
And that after that year, you'll be discounted 30% ongoing, and plus an abatement on your trash bill in addition to that, correct?
As of now, because we have yes, as of now, all costs are reduced by 30%. So
Great.
even, what cost the town about $235 in a rebate yesterday is now going to cost the town 30% less for any new customers.
Great.
And then any customers that sign up, again after their 1 year is up, or previous customers like yourself who are a monthly customer, your prices going forward will be 30% less as well. And then if we get to 200 customers, it gets reduced even more. So we want to keep going. We want to keep getting people signed up. And of course, not only is it the discount on the Black Earth cost, but the more people we sign up, the more tonnage we get diverted from our waste stream to the compost stream, and hopefully save us some money as a town through our waste management contract.
Hey, Tony, I should know this, but how often do they pick up?
Weekly.
Weekly?
Right now, they come on Tuesday mornings, Gene.
Okay.
Well, great. Thank you, Tony and Kristen and Mary. And I know Swim had a lot to do with this, and thank all of their volunteers and getting us over this initial 100 participants. And as you said, Tony, hopefully we can get it up over 200. I think it's a great program, and I encourage everybody to sign up. So again, thanks a lot for all the work you put into this. Under ongoing business, I'm just going to add, I know that Michelle, are you on? Do you want to give us an update? I know we have a meeting tomorrow night on housing.
Hi, thank you. Thank you, Mark. Yes, so tomorrow night, the Housing Committee will be having a scheduled meeting. We are pivoting it to a public discussion for Q&A for residents to call in and ask us questions about the recently released draft housing plan. And then today we published a housing plan FAQ, which is also available on nahant.org. Residents can pull that copy down and take a look at it. What we tried to do is put together approximately 18-20 questions that we've heard from residents about the housing plan, about affordable housing, this whole topic that everyone's been talking about it in Massachusetts about the housing crisis that we're going under. And so we're hoping that this document also will help further educate the residents in town and really just make sure folks understand, what we're trying to accomplish as part of completing this housing plan and getting it approved by the state.
Michelle, what time is that?
7 o'clock.
7.
Okay, great. Thanks, Michelle.
Thank you.
hopefully we'll get a good showing tomorrow night. Thanks again. Okay, preserving East Point, no update on that. Town administrators report. Are you still there, Tony, in sunny Florida?
I am still here.
Tony, the only thing on town administrator's report was the Lowlands Pump Station general bid opening recap.
So we opened the bid last Wednesday. It came in just under $6 million. I think it was 5.9. We estimated the cost of this project to be between 5.5 and 6.5. So we got a good price right there in the middle. But our engineers are extremely happy with the company that won the bid. Mark, you remember the name?
Yeah, Waterline from New Hampshire. They're a very good company.
Yeah, Waterline from New Hampshire. They said they came to all the voluntary pre-construction meetings. They went and toured our facility on Wood Road. They asked a ton of good questions. They've worked with them a million times, and are very pleased with that company. So good price, great contractor. The next part of that process is about 8 months to do shop drawings, permitting, contracting, things like that. And then they'll start the project, and they'll have about 8 months to a year for construction. So it'll likely be the end of next summer and carry out throughout the winter.
That's great. That's great news, Tony. Certainly, I know that you and Zach will breathe a sigh of relief once this work is done. It's much needed, and I'm glad things are coming together quite well. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Let's see. Moving right along. Citizens Forum. Kristen, can you open
Yep.
this up?
So Tom Hambleton, I believe you wanted to say something. Just please announce your name. You can unmute yourself and your address, please.
Tom Hambleton, 17 Kenny Avenue. I just wanted to make a request. I wanted to follow up on some statements I made maybe a couple of meetings ago, but I did go back and look at the record, and I could not find where my notes to the moderator were transferred into the statement of the vote. So I apologize for that mistake. I apparently wasn't listening at the meeting. But I do want to make a request. I think that the plan that was submitted to the planning board does not really reflect what the committee was recommending to the selectmen and the town. I think Peter Barba submitted a document saying that to retain 5 to 10 feet turned into 8 feet when we had a vote, probably between when he wrote that and when it was submitted. It also was changed in the draft, but what I would like you to do is look at the contour drawings that were prepared and see if there's any way to incorporate that in the current project. Because the plan that was submitted to the planning board for approval has people paying for the street. The committee would never have done that. And the contouring of the land down Castle Road was probably one of the better decisions that the committee made. So if it can be incorporated, I'd like you to look at it.
Okay, Tony, maybe when you get back, you can reach out to Peter and Tom, and maybe we can meet on site and take a look at exactly what Tom's talking about.
Yeah, and Dan, correct me if I'm wrong. I think what Tom's concerned about is the street and the sidewalk, and I believe our intention is for the town to retain that section, that property. So with the town meeting authorizing us to sell we can go less than that. We can make sure that we don't sell the section of the frontage on the properties on Castle Road, so that the town, retains basically to the sidewalk and the streets. Is that right, Dan?
Yeah, that's what's in the A&R, and I believe that's what the plan is going forward.
Okay. And then the second point would be the contour drawings that we had Hayes prepare. The drawing that the planning board signed had no contours at all, so it was impossible to tell what they were doing. But it's a decision that the committee thought was very important, although we got kind of rushed at the end, and I'm not sure if it was accepted or voted on by the committee, but I had it prepared by Hayes for the committee.
Okay, we'll take a look at that, Tom.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'd appreciate that, because I do think it's more in the spirit of what the committee wanted, and at least for you to understand their rationale for doing that.
Okay, makes sense. We'll do that, Tom.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Any other comments?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, from Jeff Lewis. He was asking if the $6 million was for the sewer work. Jeff, if you'd like to unmute yourself, feel free to speak if you'd like.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, I came in late and I heard,
Jeff, can you just announce your name and your address,
oh, I'm
please?
sorry, Jeff Lewis, 6 Ellsworth Road, Nahant.
Thank you.
I came in late and I heard the $6 million quote, but I didn't know what project it was for. I'm assuming sewer, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, Jeff, I'll let Tony answer. It's for the wastewater pump station. But Tony, do you want to expand on that at all?
Yes, you got it right. The town approved or authorized the town to borrow through SRF state-funded loan program for a few major projects: the Linway Force Main, the Ward Road Pump Station, the Willow Road Force Main, and the Causeway Force Main, as well as money for II, so sewer repair work. What I was referring to was the Ward Road Pump Station. We've got the Linway Force Main job done. Our next two phases are the Ward Road Pump Station and the Priority 1 II repairs, which we awarded that contract a week earlier, 2 weeks ago. So with these two contracts, we're moving right along on what was previously approved at the special town meeting a couple of years ago.
Tony, if my memory serves correctly, you had some loans approved at really favorable interest rates at either last town meeting or the one before. Does that money still hold by that interest rate?
That's what we're using. Yes, Jeff, that's what we're using for these projects.
You must have had a crystal ball with interest rates.
We're getting lucky, but it comes on the heels of a lot of breaks on the Linway, so maybe we're just getting rewarded.
Okay. Well, thank you. I'll get off now.
Okay, thanks, Jeff. And I wonder how many people out there know where Ellsworth Road is in Nahant. It does exist. Okay, any other questions?
I do. I have one more. George Mahovan, if you'd like to unmute yourself and.
Yes, hello.
Hi, George.
A question, actually two questions. One
Yep,
I guess
George,
is for,
George,
I'm sorry,
name is-
yes, George Mahovan, 64 Lennox Road, Nahant.
Thank
Sorry
you.
about that. Thank you very much. I always wonder why people don't do that. Now I understand why. Question to Dan. If I'm not correct, the short-term rental bylaw change was for non-owner occupied short-term rentals in residential areas in Nahant, regardless of who owns them, where they're from, what state they're from, what country they're from. We still allow non-owner short-term rentals or non-owner occupied short-term rentals in business districts, and owner-occupied short-term rentals are allowed all over town. So I'm confused about them questioning this as far as you say the interstate stuff. We're not banning them in the town outright. It's just in a certain area. So would that fall under the same thing you said about interstate commerce, where we're only banning them in certain areas, not in the whole town?
Well, I'll tell you, George, it's an argument, but let's not go too far down this road. Let me learn from them what they're thinking before we sort of, follow this can down the road, because I'm just guessing what they're going to tell me tomorrow.
Okay.
But you make a good point. We're not banning them outright, just in residential districts. But to be quite frank, George, the B districts are so small in this town that effectively, what someone might argue is it's what they call a de facto ban, which is to say they're so small. And I'm not quite sure there are any short-term rentals in a business district in Nahant. I mean, you're only talking Tides, you're talking Enzo in that area, you're talking the community center, and that's it. And also, if you look at the American Legion, and I don't think there are any short-term rentals in those areas.
So
I don't
Dan,
know.
it's Michelle. I'd like to correct that if I can. This is Michelle Capano, 29 Ocean Street. There are short-term rentals in the B1 district on Nahant Road.
Yes, that's what I thought too.
So again, we can argue. Well, it's an argument, but let's not go down that road until I learn more.
Okay. I just
Thank
wanted
you.
to kind of just make sure that we didn't ban them outright, and I thought maybe that might be again something for them to look at versus just okay, we haven't we're banning them in the whole town. That's not what we're doing, but we'll wait for that. I understand that. It's just a little frustrating. They said it was going to be 90 days, and we're out 6 months now. It's just a little frustrating. Also, the second question is basically for Tony. I let him know about the railing down at the right away on Wilson Road at the we call it Joe Mosher's property, but I know it's been sold. They have a railing up going down the stairs, which I had told Tony about. Are we ever going to get a crosswalk there before the year's out, or we got to wait until the weather gets warmer now?
Did you see Zach over there the other day, George? I was on the phone with him, and I thought he said he saw you on the street. He happened to be on Wilson Road.
Did you end up
bumping into him?
No, at Wilson Road, I might have been just asking about what's going on down there as far as the gas company doing what they're doing, which is basically right now they're digging up around the gas shutoffs to make sure the shutoffs are there. Once they get that all squared away, then they're going to start digging the trench to put the high pressure pipe in. Right now, there's only like 3 pounds of gas going through the pipes right now. Now they're putting in 60 pounds per square inch pipe. So I don't understand why. That's an awful lot of pounds going through. But anyways, that's what they're doing. I didn't talk to Zach. So, and I just noticed I went by there yet this morning and it still wasn't there. That's all. Just like I say, I don't know if it's weather related because I know.
I only asked because you might have gotten a more recent update from Zach than me.
No, I haven't.
So he knows about it. If he doesn't put it in before winter because of either temperatures or plowing season, it will be up, first thing in the spring. So he knows about it. It's on his list. It may get done this year before the winter time and then just touched up in the spring, or it'll just get put down in the spring. But he's aware of it, so it's on the list.
Okay, one more question. Inquiring minds want to know whereabouts in Florida you are, Tony.
I am at Magic Kingdom right now watching my kids dance with Vampirina. It's a Halloween Disney Kids Dance-a-thon going on here, so that's what I'm doing.
You know,
I'm not sitting on the beach. I'm not sitting on the beach with an umbrella in my drink.
I hear you. You know what they say down there? It's a small world down there in the Magic Kingdom. Well, have a good time. Enjoy yourself. And thank you. Have a good night, gentlemen.
Yep.
I see someone's hand up. I think Vi.
Yep, bye.
Yeah, Vi Paddock, 172 Willow Road. I'm just looking for an update on SWIM's request for data on what and when has been applied in terms of chemicals on the Kelly Greens golf course in the past few years.
Okay, I know, Tony, you've got a list of, you've been working on that?
Yeah, I got a copy of what they filed. I didn't have a request from Swim by for that information. I understood the request was that the Board of Selectmen speak to Kelly Greens about this issue and bring it up before addressing their lease extension request. So, right now that's what I'm doing. I mean, it's fitting in with a number of other things. So we're, I got a list of that. I'm trying to find out, do some research on how that ranks. And that's it. We're just analyzing that data at the moment. I put a public records request in with Department of Agriculture, because that's every golf course has to submit that information on an annual basis to MDR. So I put in a public records request there for neighboring communities to see how we rank, compared to our golf courses in the area. So it's an ongoing research project at the moment.
Yeah,
Tony,
my goal, oh, go ahead.
I was just going to ask the question, Tony, is there going to be any more chemicals put down before the spring?
I don't know that.
It would be interesting to know it. That would give us an opportunity to study this a little better.
Okay,
Yeah, my goal is to know exactly what they have been putting down, how much, and what the contract says, because I've sent off to the selectmen and to Tony. Our contract is very vague as to what's appropriate, and in some ways it almost looks like it's a way to make sure they do treat the course properly, as opposed to considering dangers to the environment and the life of the environment. So I really hope that before you finalize a contract with the golf course, that it becomes public information what they have done and will do, and what the contract requires.
okay, thank you, but I think that's what Tony's intention is in the process of gathering that information. We haven't really met with the golf committee yet to discuss the extension, but I'm sure all that will be in place before we do.
Well, and just to be clear, Dan, maybe step in on this. The terms of an extension are laid out in the existing contract, which was done through an RFP process. So, we don't have, a ton of room to renegotiate items in the contract related to the extension. But we understand your concern. They understand your concern. From my initial meeting with them, they're very, very limited on what they put down. A lot of it is because they simply can't afford to put down what other golf courses do. But they understand, the natural resource that they're on. And so I think it's gonna be a good result once we get all this information put together for you. But, as far as like, that being a part of the terms of an extension, that may not be something that we could do, because it's laid out in the existing contract how an extension would work.
So I understood that from when I looked at the contract, that the Board of Selectmen can change anything in the contract anytime they want.
That may be so. I'm not sure. That sounds a little odd.
That's not the case. You can't just change a contract unilaterally. It would need both parties to agree. And as Tony said, it can't stray too far away from the current contract, because then we have procurement issues at that point.
Well, I'll look at the contract, but is the contract's not specific on what what chemicals are applied, right?
I think that's right, Mark. There is an addendum that talks about the maintenance of the property. I can't recall it from memory at the moment, but I know there's an addendum or an exhibit that does at least address it generally.
Mhm. Yeah, and I think that one of the requirements is in the contract that any application is done so by someone who's duly licensed and a professional, and those types of things. But I don't recall, I mean, I don't think we would get into what is actually being put down in terms of a contract. I mean, I suppose we could have rules and regulations that would be separate from the contract extension, but I can't imagine, unless I'm mistaken. I don't recall that being specifically in a contract, in the contract.
But let me put it this way: the lessees are working with us, working with the town. Understand that this is a hot topic and something that is concerning to the residents, and they want to be on the right page. So we have a cooperative lessee who understands, the issue that we're talking about here. What I'm saying, however, is I don't think that we're in a position to kind of hold over the extension of the contract if they don't agree to some certain terms related to, the chemicals that are put on the cliffs. So, we're working with them. They're being cooperative. I just want to be clear. I don't think that we're in a position to say, we're not going to extend your lease unless you agree to these terms. We may not be in that type of position, but they're being cooperative. So, the other thing I would say is that in my discussion with them, they have the ability to put chemicals all over the golf course for the terms of their agreement. They only spray the tee boxes and the greens, which accounts for about 1 acre out of the 35 acres. And they do it very sparsely. So, it's really, I think they're doing a good job related to this topic. I think they're, and the golf course, you can tell he works hard on it, and he's very careful about, the effectiveness of what he's doing, because the golf course is in great shape.
Hey, Tony, if I could, you're on vacation with your family down there to enjoy yourself. We can pick this up when you come back.
Sounds good.
Okay, any further questions?
I don't see anybody else, unless anybody wants to unmute themselves that are on here. I don't see anybody that's raised their hands or sent me a message, so.
Okay, great. Thank you, Kristen. Great job. And Tony, enjoy yourself. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn, Jane.
Motion made.
Wait, sorry.
Okay, good.
Almost out of here. Sorry, Candace Cahill, 20 Rollins Avenue. Quick question. There's a meeting, Michelle, tomorrow night for the, I forget the whole housing production committee.
Yep.
And that, can you just give an update? Because I also think next Thursday there's a bigger meeting, but I don't see that on the calendar. Can you just give a quick update on what that is?
Go ahead,
Sure,
Michelle.
thanks, Candace. So next week, there will be a joint meeting of the Board of Selectmen and the Planning Board to review and discuss the draft housing protection plan. And then each board will vote to adopt the plan, and then will authorize the town to send it to the state for their review. And then the state will review it. They may or may come back with questions, and then hopefully they'll approve the plan, and that will help the Board of Selectmen and the town administrator set the strategy for how to increase affordable housing in Nahant.
So tomorrow night is a review of the FAQs, and then next Thursday is the bigger meeting with the larger group.
No, tomorrow night is a committee meeting where we'll take questions from the public
Right.
on the housing production plan.
Okay.
The FAQ was just recently published today. It's additive. It's not required. We put it together to help residents who've been asking some of the same questions that are in the FAQ. So we
Right.
decided to put something in writing to help others become more comfortable with all this new nomenclature around affordable housing.
Okay. All right.
Great.
Thank you.
You're
I'll let you go
welcome.
now.
All right, go ahead, Jeff. One more question.
Oh, just a quick one for Michelle. I've never been to one of those planning meetings. Do they allow a citizens forum there? I've read the plan, but I've got more questions than I've got answers.
Yes, at most of our meetings we have there. Remember, these committee meetings are working meetings of the committee. We've had meetings where we did not plan for a citizens forum because we needed to get through certain items on our agenda. But tomorrow's meeting is going to be dedicated to public Q&A.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Jeff.
Okay, I think that looks like it to be about it. Okay, so with that being done, I move that we adjourn.
Seconded.
Motion's been made and seconded. Discussion, hearing none.
Gene Canty, aye.
Mark Cullen, aye. Thank you, Kristen. Good job.
Thank you.
Well,
Thanks, Dan.
Good night.
Good night.